What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to talk about the new Kirby Air Riders Direct that Sakurai prepared for us on Thursday of this week. I wanted to get this video out earlier, but it didn't work out because although I did watch the Direct live on Thursday morning and I was enthralled by it, I ended up in the hospital and I couldn't record my discussion video in the afternoon of that day. Not even doing a bit. I got back. I guess I'm okay because I'm not still there. Had a pretty nasty fall on my bike. That doesn't matter. What does matter is that Sakurai, he's cooking. And I wanted to talk about Kirby Air Riders today, but, you know, I could just go over everything in the Direct, and that's usually what I do, but I wanted to get a little more esoteric today and just talk about my feelings about Kirby Air Riders, and by proxy, my feelings about Sakurai, because I kind of just was in this mood watching the Direct and seeing people react to the Direct, just of appreciation for the auteur, French term, the auteur that Sakurai is, and just the passion that he has for game creation. So I'm going to try to weave both topics in together, both Sakurai and the game that he is making. We'll see how it goes. Again, I wanted to do this a little earlier. It's like 10 o'clock at night, to be frank with all of you, but I want to get this video out because I have some other things I'm working on. I want to space them out evenly. So we are going to talk about that Kirby Air Riders Direct, but I think I'm just going to start with Sakurai, and something that I think we all knew coming into this Direct is how passionate Masahiro Sakurai is as a creative in this industry. But I don't know why, but those last few minutes of the Direct really hit home for me just how determined and how passionate and how creative this guy is. I mean, in those last 3 minutes of the Direct, he was talking about how making a game is hard and expensive, and you don't always get to do something that feels like a passion project and that you can just put your all into. But Sakurai was able to do this with Kirby Air Riders, right? He talked about how there's not going to be DLC after, there's not going to be post-launch updates. Everything that's going to be in the game is going to be there on day one. And that on its own is really cool to see in an industry that has certainly embraced DLC and updates and games that never die and just keep getting new content. Sakurai said, no, I'm going to put my all into this game, and that's going to be that. We're not going to be talking about this game 3 years later. It's just going to be a game that has enough content to where it can stand on its own without any post-launch updates for, you know, the test of time, just like Kirby Air Ride has for the past 20 years. But I think that point also underscores the strength of creative vision that Masahiro Sakurai has, right? He kept harping on this fact that, you know, he really put a lot of time and effort and energy and focus into crafting this experience, an experience that he never thought he was going to have the chance to craft 20 years after the original Kirby Air Ride. And you can see it in every little detail that he shared in this Direct, right? From the customization you can do for the machines, whether it be putting stuffed animals on them or keychains next to them, or, you know, changing the colors and the skins and the patterns, or whether it be being able to choose alternate colors for the characters, or wearing a little cute piece of headwear on the character, or the fact that there's a cute interactable online lobby for online matches. And there's also like this offline garage mode where you can just put a bunch of carts in and admire, you know, the progress you've made in Kirby Air Riders. And just the fact that whatever you want to do in Kirby Air Riders, there is an option for you to do it. You want to play at half speed? You can do that. You want to play it with less motion and camera shaking and flashing lights because, you know, either you just don't want to do that or it makes you nauseous? You can do that. You want to play City Trial by yourself offline without any sort of competition? You can do that. You want to race yourself and your best times in a track? You can do that. Do you want to sweat and go online and play Kirby Air Riders? You can do that. Or are you someone who doesn't want to mess with the online modes at all and just wants to play something single-player focused. Okay, well, there's a single-player mode here called Road Trip with a bunch of different... Oh, Carson Wentz just threw a pick. Why do I even have that on? It's just a distraction. Well, then here comes Road Trip mode with all sorts of different stages and challenges to complete and fully animated cutscenes and weirdly a pretty deep story about the origin of Kirby Air Riders, the lore of this universe that the Kirby characters find themselves in and how they grew to, make these connections with their machines and drive them. It's not unlike Masahiro Sakurai to have a lot of care and detail and thought and extra content put into his games, right? Smash Ultimate had so much bonus content that to this day I'm still doing new things and completing new things in that game. But it feels like Kirby Air Riders takes it to another level. And maybe that's because we're so used to Smash at this point that, its modes and its type of gameplay and its side content are obviously different between games, but often aren't, totally different. Like, you're still going to have your classic mode, you're still going to have some sort of single player side mode, whether it be World of Light or Subspace Emissary or Melee's classic mode. But with Kirby Air Riders, everything is just new. I mean, this game is unrecognizable compared to its 2000s GameCube original, which you could get the experience of in a few hours. Yes, there was a big challenge board, like there are many of in this game, where you could complete different tasks and get rewards, but all in all, there was the regular racing mode, and there was City Trial, and there was Top Ride, and those were cool, but that was about it. You could get as deep into it as you wanted, but there wasn't really that intrinsic motivation to do so. It was all sort of extrinsic. The fact that it was so fun to mess around in City Trial, or the fact that, Kirby Air Rides controls were very simplistic but really fun to master. But now there is a lot of intrinsic motivation to going through and really mastering all these modes, because it's going to get you a bunch of characters, because this time around there's like 20-something riders that you can use to race in this game, or it gets you more machines, because again, there are 20 plus machines in this game. And then again, past that, it gets you alternate costumes for your characters. It gets you, skins and patterns and all sorts of stuff to put on your customizable machines, which, by the way, I didn't even mention this, you can sell, because there's a whole market and economy in this game for machines for some reason. And that's so freaking cool. This is a level of detail that you just don't see in the industry these days. I mean, whether it's because games are so expensive and big now that you either have to have, sort of a main linear flow and structure to your game that doesn't really deviate from the main gimmick and objective of your game, or you have to have a really big game that goes above and beyond in scope, but then doesn't have a lot of time left over to iron out the wrinkles and add this level of detail and polish and care. And ultimately, Kirby Air Riders is not a very complicated or grand game, right? It only uses 2 buttons and the joystick, and while it is, again, a fun gameplay loop to master, it's not the most complicated thing in the world, and obviously it's not the biggest thing in the world, as much content as there is in this game. But it's Sakurai's ability to take this concept that, again, was just kind of thrown out there on the GameCube, developed in 3 months, not something that was given a lot of, I don't want to say care, like obviously Sakurai cares deeply about Kirby Air Ride, but it was something that was just kind of, made in a few months, thrown out there. We'll see how it does. That's kind of how things went in the GameCube era. But Sakurai's ability to elevate that game into something truly special in its sequel is just unprecedented, I think, in this industry. His creative focus and vision is just, it's something I am in awe of, seeing how focused this game is and just seeing how, sharp the UI is and how unified that is. And again, all of these little features that we've kind of been rambling about these last few minutes. It really just seems like he's considered everything here. Like, he has tirelessly thought over every little detail of this game to make sure it is, I don't want to say perfect, because I do think a lot of people are going to play Kirby Air Riders and be like, this is weird, I don't really like this. And that's fine. It's not like, this mass appeal game. It is very quirky and weird in terms of how it controls. It's not Mario Kart, it's not Sonic Racing, but I feel like he has almost perfected what Kirby Air Riders can be. And I think that is part of the reason why he said at the end, there's not going to be DLC. I'm not turning this into a series, because you kind of can't. It is a similar thing to what we've talked about with Smash Ultimate, but I think you can always take the Smash series in a different direction. I don't think you can take Kirby Air Riders in a different direction or make a bigger and better one, because Sakurai has just filled Kirby Air Riders to the brim with ideas and creativity and juice to where it is just overflowing, and there's no way you could top this. And that's why I am getting this sort of emotional feeling thinking about this game and thinking about the career that Masahiro Sakurai has had in the games industry. And I know this has been like all over the place, but I think I'm kind of getting to the point here. This is probably Sakurai's goodbye to Kirby as a franchise, right? Like, think about it. Sakurai is getting up there in age. He's been in the gaming industry for what, 30 or 40 years? He doesn't have that many games left before he retires, and I think that's why he was so passionate about this and wanted to do it so badly. And he said in the first direct that Takahashi approached him about making the game, but honestly, I think that might have been, Sakurai just saying that, because I feel like the rumors that this was sort of a bargaining chip for Smash 6, like, that's something that I buy, and I think it's why Sakurai was so excited and is so passionate about making this game, because all those years ago at HAL Laboratory, he started by making Kirby. And obviously he made a number of Kirby games over the years before leaving and creating Sora and sort of just becoming the Smash Bros. Guy. But I think you kind of get this feeling watching these directs and seeing how much of his soul he has poured into these games, that Sakurai saw this game, saw Kirby Air Riders as sort of a now or never opportunity to leave his mark on the Kirby franchise one more time. Because obviously, in his position, like, he might do another Kid Icarus thing, he might do something else on the side, but the rest of his career is probably going to be Super Smash Brothers. Like, whether Smash 6 is his last game or he sticks around for Smash 7 or whatever, there might not be much more for Sakurai to do besides Smash Brothers. And I guess there is a world out there where Kirby Air Riders doesn't get greenlit and Sakurai is just doing Smash Brothers for the next 5 or 10 years and then he retires. But thankfully we don't live in that world, and I think Sakurai really did see this as his farewell to the Kirby series. I mean, he's going all out. He's including all sorts of references from essentially every single game in the series, and we talk about all the features and all of the new content and all of the little details he's added, and I think part of that is just because he is Sakurai and his creative vision and determination and passion is so strong. But I think part of the reason there is so much to this game is because he knows this is the last chance he realistically has to leave his mark on the franchise that is his child, right? That he made and he grew, and he had to leave eventually because the other franchise he created got even bigger. And you can kind of understand why people thought that Sakurai was a little bit vindictive or jealous about new Kirby, so to speak. Obviously, that was disproven about 10 minutes into the Air Riders first direct, where Suzy and Magdalore got confirmed as characters about as quick as they could be. But you can sort of see where those people are coming from, right? Because since Sakurai left the franchise, it has grown to be even bigger than I'm sure he could ever have imagined. And arguably the biggest game in the Kirby franchise is the one that just came out in 2022 in Forgotten Land. And obviously he had no involvement with that game whatsoever. And that's got to be a weird feeling for him, right? Because again, he created this franchise all those years ago. And it's not like he retired. It's not like he went to a more senior role at Nintendo or HAL or something and handed the series off to a younger developer like someone like Miyamoto has. He's still actively developing and producing games to this day. Obviously, he's doing it with Kirby Air Riders now, but even before that, he was doing it with Smash and Kid Icarus and all of that. And it had to be this awkward sort of friction in his mind, where I'm sure he is passionate about and loved making Smash, and certainly he felt the same way about Kid Icarus, but I'm sure he was always, looking over at HAL and saying, man, I just wish I could have one more shot at doing something Kirby. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm glad that he finally got his chance to do that, because I have been thinking about this a lot just in general, because if you think about the titans of the video game industry in terms of developers and producers, a lot of them are pretty old, right? Like Kojima's in his 60s, Sakurai's in his 60s, even guys like Takahashi and Koizumi, who aren't necessarily involved in day-to-day production, are, I believe, in their 50s. A lot of the creatives that people cite as the greatest minds in the video game industry are getting up there in age. And I think about, like, could the next 2D Mario be the final game we get from Tezuka? Like, I don't know, I've just been thinking about this a lot, this fact that it feels like we are starting a changing of the guard in the video game industry. And I think at Nintendo, you've seen that so clearly with how in these last few years they have embraced young talent, right? Whether it is Mario Wonder, who had a lot of important figures in the development team that were younger. Same thing with Echoes of Wisdom. Same thing with DK Bonanza. Like, Nintendo is rapidly changing here, and obviously I don't think that's a bad thing, right? All three of those games I just mentioned are great. Like, Nintendo is not in any bad hands in terms of the quality of games that are coming out, but it is a little sad to see these titans and these creatives that I've sort of looked up to, and that the games they've made are some of my favorites of all time. They're winding down, right? They're still actively involved with Nintendo, or Sora for Sakurai, but they're winding down on their careers. They're legendary, Hall of Fame, if there was one for video games, careers, and it is a little somber. It's exciting, to be in the dawn of one's career and to see something like Kirby Air Riders coming out in a month. Like, I don't know, it's sort of like, Bowie releasing Black Star. I don't know, that was like a on his deathbed album. That's not a good example, but seeing these legends in the dawn of their careers is in a way exciting, because it leads to some stuff that is weird and is just pure creativity. And I think you're seeing that with Kirby Air Riders, right? I'm sure this was something that was itching in Sakurai's mind for so long, right? This idea that he wanted to return to Kirby Air Ride, and that he had so many ideas building up in his head over these last 20 years about what he could do to improve it, and what new modes he could add, and what new customization options he could put in, and, what dumb new gummy mode he could, shoehorn in to the game and have for no other reason than the fact that it is there and it is something to do and flex on your friends that, hey, I got 500 gummies, I'm a gummillionaire, which is a crazy phrase that was apparently uttered by Sakurai. Who knows how accurate the captions are. Is there a Japanese word for gummillionaire? I'm not really sure if that's a direct translation, but who knows. So, I don't know. Let me know in the comments if that point, which was very long-winded, made any sense, right? This idea that we're actively seeing a legend like Masahiro Sakurai in the final stages of his career. I know Japan has a different culture around retirement, and I'm sure Sakurai is, not living a horrible life, right, to the point where he would just have to retire. But realistically, we don't have a lot of Masahiro Sakurai games left, And to get one like this, like Kirby Air Riders, which is so full of love and passion and just soul from Sakurai, something clearly that he has wanted to do for so long. I think it's just a blessing that we can get this in the video game industry, and it's a level of creativity and passion that I don't think we see in the AAA spaces very often. I don't want to be negative, I don't want to do a AAA gaming thing, but like, it's not even a bad thing that we don't see that very often in AAA gaming, because it's not an easy thing to have. That's why Sakurai is one of one. It's why he is such a legendary creator in this space. No one should be held to the standard of Sakurai. It's like being held to the standard of David Lynch as a filmmaker, or to the standard of Bob Dylan as a musician. That's just unfair. No one can reach those heights. It's not realistic. But it's why I feel blessed, despite everything going on in the world, to be alive right now and to be involved in these spaces, these video game discussion spaces, at the same time that a titan, a legend like Masahiro Sakurai is creating and just pouring all of his love and passion into his work, like he is with Kirby Air Riders. It's like being around in the 70s and 80s and seeing Queen on tour and watching Freddie Mercury command a crowd in front of you and saying, "Hey, yo," and getting the whole crowd to chant it back to him. Like, this is what we are experiencing right now as video game fans, and that is such an honor, and I don't want to take that for granted. And that was the whole point of this video that I hope I have communicated to you, is that, like, I know there's a lot going on in the industry that is bad. There are layoffs, and there's embrace of AI, and there is this and that and the other. But god damn it, there's also Kirby Air Riders, and that's such a stupid sentence saying it out loud. But, like, appreciate this. Appreciate this moment. I'm not saying you have to love Kirby Air Riders. I'm not saying, you know, it's for everybody. But I'm saying appreciate living in the same moment as Masahiro Sakurai is creating this art. Because it's not going to be forever. For all we know, Smash 6 is going to be his last game. I don't think that will be the case, knowing who Masahiro Sakurai is. I don't think he's going to hang him up anytime soon, but it could be. You know, this could be the second to last game Sakurai ever produces, and if not, it could at least be the last non-Smash game he ever directs. So appreciate this, live in the moment, and if you're a freaking Smash fan, and you're talking on Twitter all the time about how you don't like any video games and how you were mad that Fire Emblem closed the Direct in September, you better buy this freaking game. You better support your guy, Sakurai, who poured his heart and soul into this freaking game. Like, this is your freaking guy. This is a project he is so damn passionate about. Like, support him in doing that. It's like when Danganronpa fans didn't want to get into 100 Line, because, like, that, it's a very similar comparison. Maybe not exactly, because Kodaka is not exactly a legend to the stature of Sakurai. I consider him as such, right? I love Danganronpa 1, 2, and 3. But Kaz is obviously not known as a titan in the way that Masahiro Sakurai is, but even still, like, he created arguably the most successful visual novel series of all time. Like, probably not. Ace Attorney, Doki Doki Literature Club probably outpace it in that category, but Danganronpa is one of the most popular and acclaimed visual novel series of all time. And just this year, Kodaka, the creator of Danganronpa, released 100 Line Last Defense Academy, which was made by himself and the Zero Escape director, and they made their own studio to create this game, and basically said if the game doesn't do well, they're cooked, right? Like, they put their heart and soul into that game, and it seemed to do really well, and people were loving it online, and that warms my heart. And Sakurai, of course, is not in the same position. If Kirby Air Riders tanks, he's fine. He has Smash Brothers to fall back on, and honestly, he's probably got enough money to where he could just retire right now and he would be perfectly fine. What I'm trying to say is that this is Sakurai's 100 Line Last Defense Academy, and I will be supporting him on November 20th and picking this game up. I would have picked it up if it was by Jimbo Bimbo. This game looks awesome, but knowing that it's Sakurai does add a little bit of intrigue and excitement to it, of course. And obviously, I'm not telling you how to spend your money. I'm saying all of this in jest, but, like, you know, if you love Sakurai, I would recommend picking up this game because I think you're going to love this game. Like, even if it doesn't look like your cup of tea, I think once you get into this Kirby Air Riders world, you will see it in a much more positive light. If you are down on it, I know a lot of people are really excited about this game. It felt like the direct reception was, like, universally positive, so I'm probably talking to no one right now. But even if you're not that person who's skeptical about Kirby Air Riders, because I don't think there are actually many of them, I'm probably talking to no one right now. I would just say what I said before, which is to appreciate this moment. You know, I'm not saying you have to be, you know, rose-tinted glasses about the video game industry. I'm not saying that you have to be positive all the time, but I think it is important to appreciate what we have right now and to appreciate that we are living in the same time as these auteurs in the industry, these titans that will be known forever until we all die and the asteroid kills us all. These guys, Kojima, Sakurai, whoever else, even Miyamoto if he's not doing day-to-day producing anymore, like, these guys will be etched in stone as the greats, and we are living at the same time as them. Like, dude, I would kill to have a time machine and go back to the 80s and watch Freddie Mercury live. Like, to transport myself to Live Aid in 1985 and watch that legendary performance. We can't do that. Freddie Mercury is gone. And all we can do is appreciate the performances that he did 40 years ago and say, God, that guy is a freaking legend. And listen to our parents and grandparents regale us with tales of seeing him on the TV in 1985 and just being mesmerized by that freaking Live Aid performance. The biggest, single concert or moment in like television history, and him stealing the show. We are seeing that right now in gaming with guys like Sakurai, and I'll frame it specifically in Sakurai's case. Like, we are watching, I'm glazing right now so hard. We are watching Live Aid right now with Sakurai. Like, we are seeing him, the 12 freaking Pepsi cups on the piano and doing Bohemian Rhapsody and commanding the crowd. Like, we're seeing that for video games right now. And I don't know. I want people to appreciate that. And that's what I've realized today. Like, I hope that makes sense, and tell me in the comments if I'm not making any sense whatsoever. I can try to explain it better to you in a response, but that's what I'm feeling right now after watching that terrific Kirby Air Riders Direct. Is like, we are living in the era of a legend, of a GOAT. And like, I want everyone to appreciate that, because one day Masahiro Sakurai will be like living on a beach somewhere in Japan. We won't hear from him, and we'll just regale our children of tales of Masahiro Sakurai and the hour-long presentations he did and all of the little details he added to his video games and the passion and soul and love he put into everything he did. We're living in that right now, and our children and grandchildren are going to be so jealous that we got to experience a legend and a titan like that with our own two eyes in the freaking era that he was doing his thing better than anyone else. And that's so freaking special to me, man. And I don't know how to say this without just like getting riled up, because I love it. And I love Masahiro Sakurai, and I'm not gonna apologize. And I keep thinking back to that tweet that someone made earlier this year that kind of went viral and people were clowning on him for it, where he was like, Sakurai's not even a good creator. There's actually a whole team of people who make Smash Brothers. It's like, we know, okay? We know. And there's a whole team of people who shoot and edit, Quentin Tarantino films. We still give Tarantino credit. I don't know. I'm going insane. Just appreciate this. Sakurai's a freaking legend. This Direct was terrific. Just real quick, things that I found cool about this Direct now that the rant is over. I think Road Trip looks awesome. I mean, it's got cutscenes, it's got this weird lore. I'm really excited for this. This is exactly what I wanted from a single-player Kirby Air Riders mode. I didn't need, freaking a 30-hour epic for Kirby Air Riders. I just wanted something to do on the side, and it seems to have even more depth than I expected. And if it's anything as extensive as World of Light, like, I haven't even finished freaking World of Light. There's so many challenges to do in that single-player campaign. So I feel like this is going to be bigger than we even realize. It was cool to see all the riders that he showed off. The sentence that he said, where he was like, these are the ones we're going to show you today, seemed to suggest there will be more riders. People have done the math with the character select screen and have made it seem like there's going to be 3 more riders, which is cool. I think one of them is going to be that mysterious shadow guy who is a part of the single-player campaign. Hoping one of them is Elflin. I was really disappointed to not see Elflin today. I really love him. Elflin's so cool. But I think we will get some more characters, and Elflin just makes a whole lot of sense. I was happy to see Rick, though. God, I love Rick. He's so cute. His special is just him running. Like, he's the GOAT. It's either Sakurai or Rick in the GOAT competition. It's those two titans battling it out for who's the greatest. But I love Rick. He might be my main. Oh my God. Putting some sunglasses or a little hat on Rick, oh, you're not going to see me doing anything else. You're not going to see me using any other rider. It's just going to be Rick 24/7. And this is coming from a Gooey guy. I love Gooey. Gooey's the GOAT, but like, Rick's better. I'm sorry. I will also say real quick, those frickin' amiibos look incredible. I'm like trying to talk myself out of spending $50 on a piece of plastic that has Kirby's face on it. Like, I need the freaking amiibo. It looks so good. It's so big. It's so detailed. I keep telling myself, like, okay, you could spend $50 on a freaking amiibo or $60 on Metroid Prime 4. and that kind of locks me back in. That's my mantra I've been repeating. Oh, look, those amiibos look so good. The freaking DDD one where you can like alter the pieces to make it look like he's floating, like what? And just the fact that Chef Kawasaki's getting a freaking amiibo, like who would have predicted that? That's awesome. And I kind of want to buy one just because Sakurai seems so proud of them. He was like, I can't even believe this is happening. There's freaking amiibos of Kirby Air Riders. Like, what is even this world? I might just buy one to be like, you know what, Sakurai, you're right. This is freaking cool. And you're happy. You're proud of them. I'm going to buy one. I'm going to buy Kirby. I don't know. They're so expensive, though. When I do my Kirby Air Riders stream on the day of the release, you're going to see the freaking amiibo in the background. You're going to be like, this guy, he's got no willpower. But those are my thoughts on the Kirby Air Riders second direct, and also, I guess, my thoughts on the legacy of Masahiro Sakurai writ large. So let me know in the comments, did you like this second Kirby Air Riders direct? Were you already on board with the game, or did this sway you towards making a day one purchase and picking up the newest game in the Kirby franchise? Tell me all that in the comments, and also tell me what you think of Sakurai in general. Do you agree with me that we are watching Freddie Mercury in his prime, or David Lynch in his prime, or whatever? Or do you think I'm glazing a little too hard? Whatever you think, tell me in the comments. And again, if I was a little bit like, I don't know, navel-gazy or all over the place, drop a comment, clarifying question, give your thoughts. I'll be responding to them. It's a freaking party down there in the comments section. Even though I only have 4 good fingers on my dominant hand, I will be responding to as many of them as possible. I also wanted to say that I got an Elgato capture card, and I want to stream more. I think it's fun. I did some practice streams with Ghost of Yote just to, get myself used to it, just to, figure out how all of it works, because God bless you streamers, it is really hard. It is really hard to live stream and make sure everything looks good and works. So if you want to check out those Ghost of Yote streams, I don't think they're particularly interesting because I just did an hour of Yote in the middle of the game, so there's not a lot of context for them, but they are on the channel in the live section if you want to check them out and give me any constructive feedback or criticism about how it looks or runs. Again, I'm trying to figure all this out. But the point I want to say is I want to do a stream on the release day of Kirby Air Riders on the 20th, and I also want to do a Halloween stream on next Friday. So a week from tomorrow when I'm recording this, but the 31st. Just in case you forgot what date Halloween is, it's the 31st of October. Write that down. I want to do a live stream. I'm not really sure what. Maybe some Mario Party or something. I usually play some sort of Mario game on Halloween. It's sort of a tradition for me. Would love to invite you all into that. I'll have more information on that later. I'm hoping that by the time this video comes out, I'll have it scheduled on the live tab with the game I'm playing. So just know that if you're interested, I will be streaming something on Halloween night. If you don't got a party to go to or something, you can always hang out with me on the YouTube channel, and we'll try to do something fun. And again, release date, Kirby Air Riders. I definitely want to, try it out live. I think that would be pretty fun. So if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell so that you don't miss any of that. Hit that big, fat button. Almost forgot it. So you don't miss anything going on the channel or with the live streams. I also have a Mario Tennis Fever video deep in production right now, which is to say I've written the outline for the video, and that's going to come probably next week at this rate. I did want to record it yesterday, but my phone was bugging, and then obviously today, the muse was invoked within me to talk about the legacy of Masahiro Sakurai, so, that's coming. I did a whole graphic for it. It's going to be really cool. So if you don't want to miss anything on Mario Tennis Fever and my thoughts on it, again, hit that big fat button so you don't miss out on anything going on the What's On channel. Share the video with someone who is super excited about Kirby Air Riders or is as much of a Masahiro Sakurai glazer as myself. And with all that said, I'll see you guys in the next one.